Hi guys, MRP have released a new poll which began collecting data from the beginning of the election campaign until recently, and it's looking absolutely dire for the Conservatives. Rishi Sunak would hold on to his seat by about 3 percentage points, but a number of ex-cabinet ministers like Jacob Rees-Mogg and current ones like James Cleverly would lose their seats. Individuals highlighted as future Tory leaders like Penny Mordaunt and Kemi Badenoch, according to this poll, would be booted out. MRP sampled 10,000 people, and Labour will be on course to win 476 seats, a majority of, wait for it, 410. Yes, the Tories would end up with just 66 seats. But is there a problem? Well, GB News found one.
Also, the roles under this poll of 18 cabinet members.
Yep.
Absolutely astonishing. You've got the likes of Oliver Dowden, you've got James Cleverly, you've got Grant Shapps, Penny Mordaunt, Esther McVeigh. I mean, there's a load of these. Gillian Keegan, just to rattle off a few of the people.
What that means, Patrick, is assuming that Mr Sunak, were he to lose the election, stands down as leader, which he probably should do or would do, you're left with Jeremy Hunt, Vicky Atkins, Tom Tugendhat, Steve Bartley and Michelle Donnellan as the only cabinet ministers left who could fight for leadership. It shows a scale. It will completely redraw who we think might be leader of this party after a rout in the election. And look at those numbers on reform. Zero MPs for 12% of the vote. That's third biggest party in the election. Lib Dems, unbelievably, 10% of the polls, and yet 59 or 39 MPs, depending on tactical voting. That will fuel the anger that Nigel Farage has felt since 2015 when he got millions of votes and was left with one MP, or maybe two MPs, and the SNP, in contrast, got dozens of MPs with fewer votes. He won't forget that, and here's a case in point for some degree of political reform for minor parties.
I think it's really worth just repeating that point, that this poll would have reform on 12% of the vote with no seats.
Correct.
No seats.
And it's just a poll. Were Rishi Sunak in your studio now in my place, he'd be saying to you, the only poll that matters is the 4th of July. But this matters because it's a very detailed 10,000-strong poll and an attempt to forecast the result of the election, the first one of the campaign. A lot of work to do for the Tory party, and all is not lost, but Labour is sitting pretty.
Absolutely. Look, Chris.
You know, isn't it interesting that people like this never complained when the Green Party were winning almost 1 million votes and this wasn't translating into a significant number of seats? Now that it's Reform UK, oh my God, there's, an absolute disaster here. Now, if Labour, I don't know if this is actually going to happen, but let's say for the sake of argument, Labour win a majority of over 400, then PR is dead because there's no campaign anymore. How are you going to convince the Labour Party, either within the Labour Party or outside, to adopt proportional representation? When they've said, look, we've won a majority of over 400, we don't need to go down the road of PR. We have a massive majority. We can do as we wish. We can start implementing policies that we want. No one can stop us. If we implement PR, then we're going to have to go into a coalition with other parties. So I think, at least for the first Parliament, PR is gone if Labour win a massive majority. So while advocates like myself for PR will say, look, it would be good to have the Green Party, the Liberal Democrats in coalition with the Labour Party, I think many people within Labour will say, what's the point? We have a massive majority. The Tories are gone. The Tories are no longer a force to be dealt with, to be reckoned with. We can do as we wish. And we can implement the policies that we've been hoping for so many years. Keir Starmer has complete control. Now, is this good for democracy? Probably not. You need a real opposition. The Conservatives will be on 66 seats. Now, you're going to find different numbers according to different ways of viewing the polling, because some people are including tactical voting or excluding tactical voting. But any way you cut it, it seems Labour are going to win a massive majority, and no one can oppose them. When Boris Johnson had an 80-seat majority, no one could really oppose him either, apart from factions within the party. Now, this is what could happen. If Labour win a massive majority, there will be factions who will want power. They will realise, well, The Liberal Democrats can't do anything about it. The Conservatives can't do anything about it. But we inside the party can demand concessions, or we can demand something from the leadership. But if we can form a big enough bloc within the Labour Party itself, so you may start to see factions within the Labour Party when it's in government. If it has a massive majority, like over 400, you're going to see different factions form, and they will try to extract concessions from the leadership. But from the beginning, I think you're not going to hear a squeak from the opposition, because they will be so small. You're going to see probably Labour fill up both sides of the House of Commons, because if they have a majority of over 400, they're not all going to fit on one side. This is unprecedented. I don't think this has ever actually happened. Maybe 100 years ago, or close to that, but nothing in recent history. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.